They can't. One side does not have a monopoly on the science here. Maybe they should be a little more transparent with the science that they're using. So we are left to either
Hello
be
there, and welcome to this par 4 first hole.
And say, you know what, I'm not going to stress about this because it's one guy who's our governor who's making these decisions, and even if I started screaming about it, he's not going to listen to me. So why bother? And there are other people who say, hold on a minute. You're telling me this, but that doesn't make sense to me. I need to find that information.
You can't hit all the fairways.
Seek it out. I need to research it. I need to determine exactly what this really means and whether I'm being fed a line of bull or not. And I'm curious from you right now at 888-630-WMAL, where are you going for this? How are you sorting it out? And by the way, for that matter, which category do you fall into? Because listen, and again, I just want to say, I have no judgment for the people who are not going to stress their lives out about this and recognize, even if I got upset, we're going to have Delegate Kathy Szeliga in Maryland on here. She is the minority whip right now. She has a lot of influence when it comes to legislative procedure and process, and she does as much as she can to represent her district and her party as the minority whip in the House of Delegates in Maryland. She doesn't have anything to say about what's going on right now. She's even in the same party as Governor Hogan. And she has as much influence as you do. If you called up Kathy Szeliga, if she was your delegate, and you wanted to say, you make sure you tell the governor this and this, she sadly will have to say, yeah, you know what, I'm not really part of this right now. We are all relying on the governor to just make these decisions because that's how it's been set up. That's how it's been determined. Whether that's right or wrong, that's what's happening right now. Now, we had Delegate Parrott on yesterday who was pushing back against it. They're suing the governor. And if you notice that, the same day a lawsuit is posted against Governor Hogan, suddenly Ocean City starts to loosen up. The same day that people are protesting, days after people are protesting in Richmond and in various places of Virginia, suddenly Ralph Northam starts to say, yeah, okay, starting next week we're going to start opening things up and we're going to start loosening things up. Do you think that's an accident? Or do you think maybe there's some level of connection there? I think there is.
Solid swing.
But I have no judgment for people who say, you know what, I'm so removed from this thing, and even if I get worked up about it, people, nice. I won't have any say because the governor's not going to listen to me. Even my own closest representative in the House of Delegates, who represents the smallest number of population here in our state legislative process, they can't do anything about it, even if I do complain to them. So you know what? I don't need that stress in my life. I'm fine. I get it. I really do. It's unfortunate that we're here, but I get it. But I'm curious where you fit into all of that. Where are you on it? 888-630-WMAL. And most importantly, it has to do, to me, the most important thing
was brilliant.
Is the numbers. How they're counting. We learned
starting things off at 1 under.
Suddenly, that they're now counting the people who take the tests.
Here we go.
Right? A big factor in the way that these states are deciding whether they should open up or not is to look at the testing numbers, the number of tests, the number of positives, the number of people hospitalized, the number of deaths. They're looking at all of these factors, right? And one of the big factors has to do with the number of people who are testing positive on an ongoing basis, right?
Okay, you're kind of in
here's something
some deep
that you
stuff.
in Virginia
This is the danger zone.
As Governor Northam stands up and says, hey, we've got, this many number of tests, the new number of positives now, and that's going to affect the numbers, so we can't open up yet because the number of positive tests keep going up. Listen to this. This is from Channel 12, NBC 12. Are they in Richmond? Let me just confirm this before I read. Whenever I read from a website, I always want to let you know exactly where they are. This is, it's definitely the NBC affiliate, Channel 12, and I believe it is in Richmond. And I'll confirm that for you in a moment. But this is from yesterday.
Could be in the rough here.
Richmond. Thank you very much. This is during the governor's press conference. They're covering it, and they're covering all of the things that they're doing with regard to opening up the state. and I will read from their website. Governor Ralph Northam's response team is explaining why the Commonwealth has lagged in testing when compared to other states. The state saw a historic increase in testing numbers Friday, jumping 15% in the last 24 hours. But a change in the methodology is behind the spike. You need to know the exact number of tests, not the number of people who had tests, said Dr. Daniel Carey, Virginia Secretary
Great
of Health and
contact.
Human
Nice
Services.
swing.
Can I read his quote again? He is your Secretary of Health and Human Services, Daniel Carey, Dr. Daniel Carey. You need to know the exact number of tests, not the number of people who had tests. Let that sink in now. The number of people who took tests is not what they're counting. It's the number of tests that were taken. In other words, if you had multiple tests, each one of those tests will count. Why does that matter? During a COVID-19 briefing, this is from the NBC affiliate in Richmond, Channel 12. During a COVID-19 briefing, the Virginia Department of Health announced it will now count the number of positive virus tests instead of the number of people who test positive.
Sitting at 2 under for the round.
Now, you would think that's one and the same, but it's not, because people get multiple
Third hole
tests.
coming up. Take your best shot.
It means, continuing now with NBC 12, that means if one person is tested 3 times and all 3 tests come back positive, it counts as 3 instead of how the numbers were being counted before, which would have only been 1 because it is a single patient. The number of positives in Virginia jumped 15% in the last 24 hours. And in explaining why that is, it's not because more people tested positive.
Looking
it's
good.
Because they changed the way they were counting. So if one person got tested 3 times and each time it came back positive, they counted that as 3
birdie
positives.
here.
We're setting policy on this. So when you see numbers like that, and again, my job is to sort through all of this and communicate as best as I can where we stand right now and give you context and perspective, and I just did. I gave you context on the numbers in Virginia, and that context should annoy the hell out of you because it makes no sense. If you test positive for the virus and then 2 days later test positive again and then 2 days later test positive again, you're now counted as 3 people. And we're determining whether we should keep the Commonwealth shut down in Virginia based on that. Oh, the numbers have increased. We can't open up.
And that'll keep you
no,
at
they
2
haven't
under
increased.
for the round.
You've changed the way you're counting. And
Fourth hole coming up. Take your best shot.
Some more show games with the numbers in New York in a moment. Plus you. I want to hear from you. Where are you going for this? I'm curious because I know that you're discerning. I want to hear from you at 888-630 WMAL. Let's check in now with Ed Rodriguez in the Speed Carpet Cleaning Traffic Center.
Well, it looks like the east side of town really got snake bit this time around. 95 southbound, right between 216 and 198 in Laurel. The 2 left lanes are closed. We had a dump truck actually drop a load of gravel into those 2 lanes. Also outbound on Route 50 at Columbia Park Road. You're jammed from the district line trying to get out of town because of the crash at Columbia Park. Now from GarageDoorRepair.com, the WMAL ABC 7 Storm Watch forecast.
Nice swing.
Cloudy skies and a few showers will dot radar during the afternoon hours. Temperatures well below average for this time of year, only in the 50s. Showers become more widespread overnight, dropping down to the middle 40s. Suburban locations, lower 50s downtown. Tomorrow, cloudy, areas of rain, only in the upper 40s to lower 50s, back into the 60s on Thursday. I'm ABC 7 meteorologist Steve Rudin in the Storm Watch 7 Weather Center.
Right now it's 58 degrees in your nation's capital, 324.
Right now, Blue Cross and Blue Shield companies are supporting the heroic efforts of our healthcare partners on the front line of this unprecedented fight, helping doctors and hospitals get the resources they need, ensuring patients don't have to worry about costs, and making access to prescription drugs easier, caring when it counts the most, for the health of America. The Blue Cross Blue Shield Association is an association of independent, locally operated Blue Cross and Blue Shield companies. Waiving copays excludes True-to-Less Salute.
Your favorite things feel made for you. Your education should too.
Nice.
University of Maryland Global Campus, formerly University of Maryland University College, was made to serve the military and working adults like you. Today, we continue that tradition. by offering frequent start dates so you can get started with convenient online learning that fits your schedule, by recognizing your accomplishments with credits you can earn for what you know, by providing no-cost online resources replacing most textbooks because a college education can fit your budget too, and with no SAT or GRE required for most programs. University of Maryland Global Campus, made for you. Take the next step in your education toward the career you want. Whether you want to study business, cybersecurity, healthcare, or IT, University of Maryland Global Campus can help you get there.
For the
Apply by
bird.
May 31st, and we'll waive your application fee. Classes start soon. Visit umgc.edu/radio. Certified to operate in Virginia by Chev.
Hey, Vince Colonnese here for Healthnetics CBD. It's a premium brand CBD that I prefer. People use CBD for a lot of reasons, from relieving aches and pains to promoting a restful night's sleep. But not all CBD companies are the same, which is why I recommend Healthnetics, a premium brand available online at healthnetics.com. Healthnetics CBD products are an effective, all-natural relief option for a healthy mind and body. Healthnetics products are made in the USA, THC-free, and undergo rigorous third-party lab testing to ensure quality and purity. In these anxious times, customers are enjoying Healthnetics CBD products to relieve stress, promote relaxation, and alleviate sleeplessness. Order today. Receive free 2-day shipping. There's nothing to lose with Healthnetics.
So that's going to keep you at
100%
2
money
under
back
for the
guarantee.
round.
Trust the brand I use. Go to healthnetics.com and order today.
Okay,
In
fifth hole
recognition
coming
of the
up.
financial burden caused by COVID-19, Healthnetics is offering 20% off each order with promo code REST. Healthnetics.com. Promo code REST for 20% off.
There are everyday actions to help prevent the spread of respiratory diseases. Wash your hands. Avoid close contact with people who are sick. Avoid touching your eyes, nose, and mouth. Stay home when you are sick. Cover your cough or sneeze.
Great
Clean
contact.
and disinfect frequently touched objects with household cleaning spray. For more information, visit
Pretty
cdc.gov/COVID-19.
deep rough here.
This message
not
brought to
gonna
you by the
sugarcoat it.
National Association of Broadcasters and this station.
These are, I don't have to tell you, strange times. And the question that we're all facing right now is how do you move forward? And the answer is, well, you do whatever you can. That's what my friend Patrick Fingles and the incredible team at New Look Home Design are doing right now. They are doing whatever they can to help you, service you as they have for 17 years now in this area for your roof replacement needs. And they're also doing everything they can to keep their team together and keep people working. And they're ready to help you right now. Listen, if you need your roof repaired, I got to tell you that New Look Home Design is the call to make.
Solid swing.
They are so eager to take care of you right now and keep everybody employed and keep everything working. And listen, they use incredible state-of-the-art technology right now to measure every inch of your roof. They're happy to give you a quote wherever you want,
Yeah,
at
let's
your
get this
table,
ball
on
onto
your
the green so
doorstep,
we can
or over
start
the
with the
phone.
putting.
Let me just be clear here. The quote they give you, even though it's all going to be done digitally and they use their technology to work it out, this isn't just some guy on the other end of the phone saying, yeah, it's going to cost about that much money, or just some sort of email quote. No, just because it's done digitally doesn't mean that they do incredible due diligence to give you a highly accurate quote. Don't fall for some of these other places who are just sort of spitballing here, okay? You don't want that. You want the professionals at New Look to handle this for you, and to support their employees and their customers, they've reduced all their estimates to absolutely hit the lowest price possible. They're even offering an additional $1,000 voucher to customers who really need it. And they have custom financing programs right now with no interest, no payments. They understand what you're going through right now. And with that rain the other day, you might be in a place right now where you can't put this off. So call New Look Home Design right now. Only roofing company I'll recommend. 800-279-5300. 800-279-5300. NewLookHomeDesign.com.
Live and local. You're listening to The Larry O'Connor Show.
My gosh, I really want to get to you. I had so much to say there, and now you have so much to say. Let me get one of you in here real fast here. Liz in the district. Go ahead, Liz. You're on WMAL.
Hi, I'm an 80-year-old lady who enjoys your show.
Thank you.
I was sent to the Washington Hospital because
Okay,
they thought maybe I had intestinal polyps. They put me in the ICU, and while I was there, they tested me for coronavirus 4 times. Every single time it came back positive, which is a surprise to everybody. I wasn't dead yet. But I never had any coronavirus symptoms, and I'm sure I'm down there as 4 positive people.
Was that in Virginia, Liz? or in the district?
No, this is Washington
Great
Hospital.
contact.
Picture.
Nice swing.
Well, Liz, God bless you. I'm so glad. Are you doing okay right now?
Oh, I'm happy as a clam. I'm home. I'm out of that hospital.
Oh, good. I'm happy for you, and I'm happy you're
Looking
keeping
at
it here on
around
WMAL.
155
That's
yards
remarkable.
out from here.
Stay safe. 4 times tested positive when she was in the hospital. And if she's in Virginia, they count her as 4 people right now, 4 positives, which would certainly bend that curve in the wrong direction. I wonder how D.C. is counting Liz as well. All right, a lot of you want to get in here. We're going to talk to Jack Carr, former Navy SEAL, thriller author. Next, we'll get to your calls. Keep it here, WMAL.
WMAL-FM, Woodbridge, Washington. Now, more than ever, depend on 105.9 FM, WMAL, a Cumulus station. News now.
WMAL News at 3:30. I'm Maria Leaf, and new this hour, Vice President Mike Pence says the White House Coronavirus Task Force could wind down its work by early June. He told reporters at a briefing a short time ago that the U.S. could be in a, quote, very different place by late May and early June. Pence says the administration is beginning to eye Memorial Day to early June as the window as the appropriate time to have federal agencies manage the pandemic response in a more traditional way. His comments came as an Associated Press analysis found infection rates rising even as states start to lift their lockdowns. The vice president characterized the discussions as preliminary.
And that'll keep
Dr.
you at
Deborah
1 under
Birx,
for the round.
Rather, the task force coordinator says the federal government will still keep a close eye on the data.
Okay, it's time to send this ball on its way.
The task force disbands. Checking your money this hour, the Dow's up 215 points, the S&P 500 up 37, the NASDAQ up 131. WMAL Sports brought to you by Unbound.org. Former Maryland football coach Roy Lester has died due to complications from the coronavirus. He won 3 state championships over 15 years at Paint Branch and Magruder. Lester was 96 years old.
Right now, there are young people across the world facing a tough choice. Continue their dream of education or drop out to help their family put food on the table. You can help change their future in a single moment. See how far your support can go at unbound.org.
WMAL traffic and weather. Here's Ed Rodriguez in the Hadid Carpet Cleaning Traffic Center.
It looks like we're in for a long afternoon between the Beltways, southbound on I-95 and Laurel, right between Route 216 and 198. We've got a spilled load of gravel from a dump truck blocking off the 2 left lanes, and Charts out there working on it now. They're still cleaning up the accident eastbound on Route 50 at Columbia Park Road. Traffic there backs
Looks
up
like this is a
to
beauty.
the 295 split. Now from GarageDoorRepair.com, the WMAL
Okay, let's see what you can do with this 7-footer.
Temperatures will only make it into the 50s during the afternoon hours with scattered showers. Winds will be out of the northwest at 5 to 10. Showers become more widespread for the overnight. Middle 40s to lower 50s. Tomorrow, it's going to be cool and damp. Also on the wet side, areas of rain, upper 40s and lower 50s. Back into the lower to middle 60s on Thursday with a good amount of sunshine. I'm ABC 7 meteorologist Steve Rudin in the Stormwatch 7 Weather Center.
58 at Reagan National. I'm Maria Leaf on Washington's Mall, WMAL.
We're starting to see the leveling off and the coming down.
Awesome.
The increase in number of cases.
Breaking news.
Flatten the curve and to save lives.
The
2 under
inside
for the
story.
We have to get our country open. I want to get it open as soon as we can.
Depend on it.
Where the U.S. economy is headed.
You know what business wants? They
Okay,
want to make
here we
money.
go.
Every day.
Our food supply chain is sound and plentiful.
What happens next?
We're making progress. We're getting there, America.
Happens here.
We will be back.
105.9 FM, WMAL.
Homeowners, are you paying too much for your home loan? Prime Choice Funding is the answer with a 15-year fixed-rate mortgage at just 2.75% rate in APR or a 30-year fixed at just 3.125% rate in APR. And we'll even waive all lender fees. That's
Well, I
right, a
guess you can't hit all
15-year
the
fixed
fairways.
at just 2.75% rate in APR or a 30-year fixed at just 3.125% rate in APR. And we'll pay all lender fees. You may be able to save thousands of dollars per year. Don't miss out on these historically low rates. Call Prime Choice Funding now at 844-933-4343. 844-933-4343. That's 844-933-4343. Or visit primechoicefunding.com. Equal housing lender, not licensed in all 50 states. Call for cost information and conditions. Rates quoted as a 15-year and 30-year fixed rate conforming loan based on a credit score of 740 with an LTV of 60% on a rate and term refinance. NMLS Consumer Access.
Well, I can't get them all right. I am, after all, only human.
Even though COVID-19 poses an unprecedented challenge, you can count on Novak to deliver reliable power and to help in other ways. Novak.com offers tips to save energy while spending more time at home. Novak customers can monitor their energy use online, as well as pay bills through the website or by phone. And anyone can donate to help neighbors in need through Operation Roundup. Novak, power you can count on.
Well, looks like this may be in the deep stuff.
It is 3:36 on WMAL. This is where Washington comes to talk. Thanks for being here. Thanks for not watching cable news. That'll
3 under for the round.
Destroy your soul these days. Good God, those people on cable news. This is much better for you. Trust me.
Okay, it's time to send this
coming
ball
up in the 4
on its
o'clock
way.
hour, Delegate Kathy Shalega. She's the minority whip in Annapolis. Touch base with her about what she is doing in working with Governor Hogan, if there is any working with Governor Hogan, and trying to open up the economy of the state of Maryland, where things stand there. We'll continue talking about what's going on in Virginia as well. Also, we've got news from the federal government, from President Trump out of the White House, with regard to the national, the federal coronavirus task
this
force.
One's looking
and
dialed
its future.
in.
We'll share that information with you, and some more curious numbers coming out of the state of New York that you need to know about. All that coming up.
For the birdie.
Right now, I am very, very excited to talk to one Jack Carr. He is an author now of his 3rd thriller in a row. Anyone who knows me knows that I love thrillers. I love these books. Brad Thor is a regular on this show, Jack Carr, and his books, I'm addicted to them. I cannot wait for the next one, and I got to tell you, I'm just finishing the Terminal List right now, and I'm adding you to the list. I got to have your books the second they come out. So thanks for joining us today.
Oh, my goodness. Thank you so much for having me, and thank you for the kind words. And when you get to book 3, Savage Son, and you see the dedication, you'll see that Brad Thor's name is right there in the beginning of the book. Because
okay, let's see what you can do with his 8-footer.
Today without him opening.
No way. Oh, well, that is great to know.
Forever indebted. He's so great.
That's
so
fantastic. Yeah, he's a great guy. He's been a friend of mine for almost 10 years now, and I actually read in Terminal List, you actually did a shout-out to Brad Thor in a subtle way. The character is reading the latest Brad Thor novel.
And
so
after
I thought maybe
9 holes, you're doing great. Keep up the good work.
Listen,
see you on the back nine.
Always
okay, here we go.
Yeah, just can't thank him enough.
Congratulations on getting Savage Son on the New York Times bestseller list. It's just out right now. We're in the middle of a global pandemic, and you get a book on the New York Times bestseller list. That's quite an achievement.
Yeah, it was a strange time to probably launch any product. Of course, I'm focused on publishing and books. But, no one really knew how it was going to go. So uncertain, and had to, of course, pivot at the last second when we saw how things were headed and everything shutting down, and had to change an actual book tour where you go around to 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 different cities and talk about your book and shake hands with everybody and thank them and do all that sort of thing, along with all the local media and everything else that goes along with it, to a completely virtual bookstore, and also do it in a way that was appropriate for the time. So for me, that meant helping out independent bookstores as much as I possibly could. So even though they're closed down, a lot of them are still taking orders. And a lot of them they're adapting to survive as well. So I did some limited edition book plates that you could only get through independent bookstores. And there's a list of those on my website. Then I have a merchandise site where 100% of those proceeds went to still go to the COVID-19 response fund. So trying to do a little good along the way. But all 3 novels seem to be resonating with people, and I'm sincerely thankful to everyone who took a risk on me and got this thing on the New York Times list.
Well, and I got a lot of questions for you, Jack Carr, because like your friend Brad, you do sort of draw from what's going on in the real world, and there's a lot of parallel storylines in your fictionalized version of life and real life. And
sitting at
for everyone to know, you're
under
a
for the
retired
round.
U.S. Navy SEAL. You retired as lieutenant commander, and your main character
Here we go.
Well,
pop this in the
I
fairway.
guess he's forced into retirement in the first book, Terminal List. But he basically, in this book, in the first book, he is out for revenge. It's all about revenge because his brothers were betrayed. It happens. It's not a spoiler. It happens very early in the book. His team is betrayed by corruption within the government, and they're killed. I got to tell you, from given that, and given that that's what your central character sort of starts on this journey with, as a former Navy SEAL, what sort of informed that storyline for you? Because you must have seen a lot of incompetence in the military and in the government.
I'd say around 110 yards or so to the pin.
Oh, yes. It's at all levels in the military. It's just like any other industry or segment of society. You have the high achievers and the people that are just scraping by and everything else in between. So I was really inspired by the church hearings, though, in the 1970s, where a lot of abuses of power by the federal government were kind of emerged as part of those hearings by CIA and NSA and other federal agencies. And I was kept inspired by that and thought, you know what, there's a lot of time has passed since then. And after those hearings, there were safeguards put in place that, in this specific case, didn't allow the testing of drugs on people without their express consent, because they had been testing some certain drugs on people in the military, people in prison, college students, things like that, mental institutions.
Heading towards the water.
Didn't get the memo all these years later, and they tried to do something, try to bend the rules there a little bit. So that's where that was inspired, but more a little deeper than that. It also came from the fact that on the battlefield, if you were to make some of those decisions or the mistakes that our leaders made at the strategic level throughout the war, you would be sent home, you'd never operate again, and you'd probably be court-martialed and thrown in jail. Yet at the strategic level, those senior-level leaders who are not at the tactical level engaged in combat, they can make those mistakes all day long. And the people that feel the repercussions from those decisions are the people that are on the front line. So I saw a lot of that over my time in uniform, and all of that wove its way into the pages of that first novel that is all about revenge without constraint.
Yeah, it sure is without constraint. I want to get into that in a bit too, because your central character, unlike Jack Ryan, he's
3 under for the round.
Brutal revenge at his hands, which is remarkably written, and all of it is justified.
Number 12.
I want to get to that in a minute.
This is
you
the
wrote
12th hole coming up.
These books. You started this series, I should say, Jack Carr, just a handful of years after the events in Benghazi, where, again, Navy SEALs were betrayed by an inept government and left to die. Did that have anything to do with this? I know what the special ops community is like, and I know how you observe these events and how personal you take them.
That's right. So you probably noticed that those guys, I knew 2 of the guys that were killed that night in Benghazi, and they made their names are in the first. They're in all 3 novels actually. So that's the woven in there, and that's once again that
nice.
Same type of a.
Okay, we're sitting at around 110 yards to the
senior
pin.
levels that maybe they can't be bothered. They're focused elsewhere, or for whatever reason.
Yeah.
But particularly in Benghazi, when people say, "Oh, it only lasted 13 hours. How could anyone get there in time?" Well, you know what? In the middle of that thing, you didn't know if it was going to last for 13 hours, 13 days, 13 months. So that one really doesn't hold much water with me. You can still move heaven and earth to get to the aid of people, especially Americans, that need it on the battlefield.
We're speaking with Jack Carr. He's a retired United States Navy SEAL and now the author, a New York Times best-selling author, thank you very much. His 3rd book is Savage Son, and it's out right now. So, again, and just because I'm just finishing Terminal List right now, so I do have questions about that one as well, and we'll get to the Savage Son in a sec. Lorraine Hartley is a character in the first book. She is a ruthless Secretary of Defense with eyes on the White House, and she does horrific and corrupt things to get whatever she wants politically. That's Hillary Clinton, right?
Yeah, I was just going to ask you if she reminded you of anyone.
It wasn't very subtle. It wasn't very subtle. And, by the way, a philandering husband.
So in case any of the lawyers of Simon & Schuster are listening to, we might use the term inspired by.
Yes.
And that'll keep you at 3 under for the round.
Maybe inspired by people that were in the news during that time frame.
Oh, no, her dialogue is in Hillary's voice.
It's just hole number 13. This is just a number. Let's see what you can do.
I don't think you're the only one.
There is another politician, and I've had the honor and privilege of interviewing various retired SEALs, and I've even met some active SEALs. And I've always forgotten to ask this, and so I'm going to ask you, Jack, because there's another politician in the news these days, Joe Biden. And I had completely forgotten that after the incredible operation that was, by the way, we just celebrated the anniversary this last weekend, the operation to take out Osama bin Laden.
Ended up just fine after
Biden
that shot.
identified
a
SEAL Team 6 as
the
team that had carried out that incredible mission. That wasn't a good thing, wasn't it? That's not something that a politician should do. The SEALs were, kind of bothered by that, weren't they?
Yeah, that's a tough one because it's a hard one. There are very few secrets in the military, and especially once politicians get a hold of them. There's a few probably with the mini sub community, so the SEALs that go in that SCV. Those are probably some of the only secrets that I know of that are left in the military, just because we're so open about everything these days with social media, and everybody is just at each other's throats in Washington D.C. all the time trying to get that edge.
So that'll keep you at 3 under for the round.
That would have been candidates to have done that. Yeah, it doesn't take too much to figure it out. Right. Biden probably shouldn't have stumbled around as he did, and it probably wasn't up to him to do it. It's probably up to the president at the time. But once again, to be fair, it is one of 2 units that were going to conduct that mission.
I guess that's true, and politicians are going to be politicians. Jack Carr is our guest, and his book, Savage Son, is the 3rd in his series. I am an aficionado of these thrillers. I love Daniel Silva's stuff, which is very different in style from what you do, what Brad Thor does. And, of course, I love Vince Flynn's books and the Mitch Rapp character. The Mitch Rapp character, I think, really started to be a little bit more of an aggressive killer when sent out to assassinate people and do what he needed to do to complete his mission. And
Solid
then Scott
swing.
Harbath, Brad Thor's central character, sort of took that up a notch. But I got to tell you, what happens in your books, there is some real brutal execution.
You're looking at around 175-yard shot here.
And how much of this is informed by your actual career as a SEAL, and how much is sort of what you would have loved to have done as a SEAL?
Right, so there's a lot of both of that in there. And wait till you get to book 3. Wait till you get to Savage Son. I think you're really gonna like the torture scene in Savage Son, because people are talking about it, and it's something that they've never even thought of or read anywhere else before. So that's in the 3rd one here. But I think why the books are resonating so much, because Simon & Schuster sees thousands of these things cross their desks each and every year.
It's a huge industry, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and so what made this particular one stand out was my first novel, The Terminalist, and I think that's because, yes, it's 100% fiction, but the emotions and feelings that
you're on the green, a lot of work to do, but you're on. Okay, a 23-footer from here.
They come from a real place. So from my experiences in Iraq and Afghanistan, I took those emotions and I applied them to a fictional narrative. So it would feel visceral, it would feel real, hard-hitting, and I think that's what made it stand out to Simon & Schuster, and that's why it's resonating, or why all of them are resonating with readers, because those emotions come from a real place.
Yeah, and I think that's fair to say, and I'd love for you to talk a little bit more about that in terms of what we as an audience now want at this time frame. Going through the global war on terror, seeing with our own eyes thousands of our fellow innocent Americans murdered in cold blood. Do we want the same kind of revenge that your characters want?
And
when they
that'll
are,
keep you at 3 under for the round.
On our behalf?
Right, so in The Terminalist, it really was someone who has nothing left to lose.
15th hole coming up.
Die. And I had to get the character to that place because, growing up, I identified with movies and books that had that theme of revenge, but that voiceover in the background on the previews would always say he had nothing left to lose.
Right.
And I always thought, you know what, he's got something to lose. He could die. So I had to take that away from him, too, which is why he's on this quest, on this journey of vengeance, why he thinks he's dying. So that frees him up to essentially become the terrorist, become the insurgent that he's been fighting for the last, at that point, 16 years at war, and really bring those wars from Iraq and Afghanistan home to the front doors of people who have been sending young men and women to their
deep
death.
in the rough
now
here.
Creeping up on 20 years. So that was an important part of it for me.
So you're in country, you're waiting around for the go-ahead on a mission, or maybe you just finished training and you're hanging out with your team members and you're just sort of, talking the way you guys talk. Do you guys just openly say, wow, this would make a great book? This would be, how much of this is just sort of like you always say, oh, yeah, I'm going to write a book about this?
Mostly the guys just say this would make a great movie.
Yeah.
Most of the guys. So, but in my head, ever since I was a little kid, there were two things I wanted to do. One was serve my country in uniform, specifically as a SEAL, and the other was to then write fiction in this genre. Because growing up in the 80s and in the early 90s, a lot of the information that I got on special operations came from the pages of fictional thrillers by guys like Tom Clancy, David Morrell,
great contact,
Miller,
nice
Jason
swing,
Mel, Jason Pollock, Mark Holden, all these guys who had protagonists with special operations backgrounds in Vietnam. Was where it typically was in the 80s.
Okay, you're on the green
and
with
I had such a good
whole
time
lot of work
escaping
to
into
do.
the pages of these novels that I knew that one day that's what I would do. I would write in the genre. So I was a student of
Wait, did you tell the guys at the time that you were going to be writing about this at some point? I would think they would give you a hard time about that. No.
Nope, I kept those. And you know, when you're in, your sole focus really, it's the mission, because that's what you owe the guys, that's what you owe their families, that's what you owe the country. So it's really that foundation that I had growing up, and I never stopped reading my whole life, but I started reading more the nonfiction, of course, studying warfare, terrorism, insurgencies, counterinsurgencies, and then had that practical application from Iraq and Afghanistan. So all three of those things came together really at the right time and place as I was getting out to introduce readers to James Reese, the
okay, so that'll keep you at
James
3
Reese is a
under
great
for the
character,
round.
really well crafted. I'm sure it is Jack Carr's alter ego as a retired United States Navy SEAL.
Let's let her rip.
The first book is Terminal List, second book True Believer, now the third book Savage Son lands on the New York Times best-selling list. I'd love for you, in our final moments here, Jack, we lost Ross Perot last year. And sadly, I don't think there was enough said about Ross Perot at the time of his passing. He was a hugely important American figure, Naval Academy graduate, of course. And I think too many people know of Ross Perot what they saw during the presidential runs. And sadly, they don't know enough about him. But you had an experience with him personally that, if you're open to it, I'd love for you to share.
Oh, absolutely. And there's a book by Ken Follett on Wings of Eagles that talks about Ross Perot. And
I'd say it looks like around 145 yards from the pin.
During that time frame. Mm-hmm. But for us, we have a special needs middle child that no one could figure out what was going on with him. And we went to Cedar Sinai, we went to all these different places, and then someone told Ross Perot our story. A friend of a friend was one of Ross Perot's financial advisors, told him our story, and he said, get him on the phone. So I got a call out of the blue from Ross Perot, who sounded a lot like Dana Carvey impersonating Ross Perot on Saturday Night Live, by the way. And he said, yes, I heard your story, and I'm going to put together a team of genetic specialists here in Dallas, and we're going to fly you out, and we're going to figure out what's going on.
Sweet.
So
33 feet to the hole here.
Jet, and we got our son on board, and he had a nurse on there for him and everything, and flew us out to Texas and spent a week there doing a bunch of genetic testing and that sort of thing. And a little bit later, we got word that it was a mutation of the NR2F1 gene, and our son was the 13th person in the world ever diagnosed with this. And the only reason we have that diagnosis is because of Ross Perot. And he could not have been more fantastic. Took us all on a tour of his museum where he collected things over the years. So I got to see there was so much military paraphernalia in there, and what an amazing life that he had. A great American success story, and just an incredible human being. So on my first book tour, I got to go visit him again and thank him again, and he still had our son's picture right there on his desk.
Wow. That's incredible. And again,
and that'll keep you at 3 under for the
just
round.
One of literally hundreds, if not thousands, of stories about things that Ross Perot did that no one ever heard about.
Coming off a par on the last one. Let's see what happens here.
He wasn't sending out a press release every time he did it. That's great. Listen, I hope this is the first of many future interviews, Jack Carr. Not only when you've got a book out, because I think that you've got plenty to say about the world around us as it happens. So don't be a stranger, will you?
Anytime. Happy to come back on. Thank you so much. Sincerely appreciate it.
My pleasure. It is Savage Son. That's the latest from Jack Carr, now on the New York Times best-selling list. And yeah, you need a distraction right now. So get this book, and you will be lost in these characters. Let's check in now with Ed Rodriguez. He's in the Hadid Carpet Cleaning Traffic Center.
Thanks, Larry. This report is sponsored by Unbound. Good news on outbound Route 50. Got rid of the accident there, and everything's open. It's starting to ease. Southbound 95 is going to be a problem all through the rush hour. The two left lanes remain blocked right between the Patuxent River Bridge and 198. It's a load of gravel spilled onto the roadway. Also, 66 westbound, the left lane's blocked for road work between the Prince William County Parkway and Route 29. Now from GarageDoorRepair.com, the WMAL ABC 7 Storm Watch forecast.
Temperatures will only make it into the 50s during the afternoon hours with scattered showers. Winds will be out of the northwest at 5 to 10. Showers become more widespread for the overnight, middle 40s to lower 50s. Tomorrow, it's going to be cool and damp. Also on the wet side, areas of rain, upper 40s and lower 50s, back into the lower to middle 60s on Thursday with a good amount of sunshine. I'm ABC 7 meteorologist Steve Rudin in the Storm Watch 7 Weather Center.
Okay,
and right
so
now it's
that'll
58
keep you
degrees
at
in your
3
nation's
under for the
capital,
round.
355.
Right now, there are young people across the world facing a tough choice. Continue their dream of education or drop out to help their family put food on the table. You can help change their future in a single moment. See how far your support can go at unbound.org.
Recently, you saw the stock market fall more in a single day than any day since the crash of '87. I'm Rick Edelman. Unlike past market crashes, though, this crisis is easy to explain. And we know that when medical science delivers a solution, life will return to normal, and stock prices should recover. So if your situation hasn't changed and your long-term goals remain the same, you should stick with your long-term outlook and your diversified portfolio. Today offers you an opportunity to rebalance your investments,
I'd say 160
maybe even
yards
to
or
add
so
to your
out
portfolio.
from the pin.
After all, lower prices can be a buying opportunity. You could even refinance your mortgage thanks to new lower rates. If you're unsure of what to do, call us here at Edelman Financial Engines. We've helped our clients get through tumultuous times for 34 years, and we can help you get through this one too. Call us at 888-PLAN-RIC. That's 888-PLAN-RIC. Or visit us online at rickedelman.com. That's ricedelman.com.
At CDWG, we get that migrating your agency to a hyper-converged infrastructure is challenging.
Like me switching to decaf. Gotta do it, don't want to do it, but gotta do it.
Whoa, slow down, friend. CDWG's experts can help simplify your transition from legacy to hyper-converged infrastructure with Dell Technologies solutions that offer speed and agility.
Do it, do it. Have you done it? Is it done yet? Why isn't it done yet?
IT orchestration by CDWG. People who get it. Find out more at cdwg.com/DellTech.
Migraines can attack anytime, anywhere. Now there's a new kind of pill you can take anytime, anywhere to treat them. Introducing Ubrelvy or Ubrogepant. Ubrelvy can provide relief from migraine pain and debilitating symptoms without worrying where you are or if it's too late. People took Ubrelvy within 4 hours of a migraine attack. One dose can quickly stop a migraine in its tracks within 2 hours, and many had pain relief in just 1 hour.
Ubrelvy treats migraine attacks in adults and is not for migraine prevention. It is available by prescription only. Do not take Ubrelvy with strong CYP3A4 inhibitors. Tell your healthcare provider about all the medicines you take. Few people had side effects. The most common were nausea, 2 to 4%, and tiredness, 2 to 3%.
While normal routines have shifted, the need for migraine treatment remains the same. Contact your healthcare provider to see if Ubrelvy is right for you. Ubrelvy, the